25 Best PS2 RPGs. Number 25. Rogue Galaxy. Rogue Galaxy is a fantastic tale that's a mix of swashbuckling pirate adventure and space opera. It's considered one of the greatest RPGs to come out for the PS2 and is featured on many hidden gem and underrated classics lists on game blogs and games media sites. Number 24. Marvel Ultimate Alliance. Marvel Ultimate Alliance is a gigantic game with over 20 characters that span the entire Marvel universe. With a story that goes from New York to the halls of Asgard, there's a ton of content to explore, optional missions and plenty of team configurations that reward you for knowing Marvel Comics lore and the powers of the characters.
The son of Odin.
Number 23. Odin Sphere. Odin Sphere is another underrated classic. The story weaves the lives of more than 5 characters and shows just how deep and complex a narrative can be in a PS2 era game. The art style is a beautifully rendered 2D storybook affair, with bold colors, detailed character models and fluid animation. Number 22. Xenosaga Episode 3, also sprach Zarathustra. The game's combat system is straightforward and easy to understand and offers a few unique additions to the traditional JRPG with its break gauge and boost gauge, which add a risk versus reward style to encounters. If you are a fan of the series, you'd be crazy not to see how it all ends. Number 21. Shin Megami Tensei Digital Devil Saga 2. The combat system is the same as the original. Taking advantage of the enemy's weaknesses or scoring critical hits will net you an extra turn, while your opponents themselves can take advantage of the same system. This game is a must for any Persona and Shin Megami Tensei fans.
All others, and into this ring.
Number 20. The Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers. The combat is a third-person hack-and-slash affair, with the ability to play through the levels as Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli. You are awarded experience points by how well you do in combat, and you can get a bonus to experience earned while playing by filling up a meter on the bottom left of the screen. Number 19. Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne. Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne is not only one of the most beautiful games on the PS2, but it's also one of the most challenging RPGs made. With multiple endings, a ton of monsters to recruit, and a deep narrative to explore, the game has become a cult hit with hardcore JRPG fans. Number 18. Xenosaga Episode 1, Der Wille zur Macht. The story and setting are rich and complex, and the characters are likable and interesting. Some characters also have a boost gauge that can be filled up during combat that also allows you to take an additional turn while simultaneously removing the enemies from the turn order. Number 17. Valkyrie Profile 2, Silmeria. The game is separated between 2D exploring and puzzle solving, while the combat takes place in a real-time 3D battle arena. With an engaging and well-thought-out story, in addition to the tightly designed combat, Valkyrie Profile 2 Silmeria is a unique and enjoyable gaming experience.
Shelter in the Elfsong Tavern. It's
Number 16. Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance. Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance is an action RPG based on the 3rd edition of the Dungeons & Dragons system. It's reminiscent of the Diablo franchise in basic combat mechanics. The story is wonderfully tropey in all the best way D&D can be, and if you ever play a tabletop RPG, this game will put a smile on your face. Number 15. The Lord of the Rings The Return of the King. Much like the previous game, The Lord of the Rings Return of the King is an action RPG that awards experience based on how well you do in combat. You'll be delighted to guide Gandalf the White, Aragorn, and Sam through their journey to finally destroy the One Ring and end Sauron's reign for good.
Knock their arrows aside! Gandalf!
Number 14. Final Fantasy XI. The game is incredibly ambitious, especially for a PS2 era game. With a bevy of mini-games that include fishing, gardening, and even racing chocobos, there is an amazing variety of things to enjoy in this huge and well thought out MMO. Number 13. Champions of Norrath. Champions of Norrath is set in the EverQuest universe and uses a lot of that franchise lore to establish the setting and ground you in the narrative. There's a lot of customization options for each class that really gives you the ability to build a character that fits your style and make your hero truly yours. Number 12. Suikoden III. Suikoden III offers a plot full of twists, turns, and political intrigue. The combat has a good variety to it, using a more traditional turn-based 6-party member setup, and occasionally dips into a turn-based strategy game when large armies clash. Number 11. Shadow Heart's Covenant. In this game, there is something called Judgment Ring that not only affects attacking, skill use, and item use, but also things outside of combat as well. If you like occult elements and turn-based combat that requires your full attention, Shadow Heart's Covenant is the game for you. Number 10. Final Fantasy X-2. The story for the sequel to Final Fantasy X is considerably more lighthearted and was designed to reflect Japanese pop culture. With a robust new set of systems and the continuation of Yuna's story, Final Fantasy X-2 is a must for any fan of the franchise. Number 9. Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts is a beloved franchise, and the first game in the series is a large part of that. This is the game that started the phenomena that is the Kingdom Hearts franchise, and is a must if you want to enjoy the other games in the series. Number 8. Shin Megami Tensei Persona 3. Shin Megami Tensei Persona 3 is an excellent game worthy of being an entry in the Persona series. It's the first game in the franchise to introduce the social link system, where you gain bonuses in-game and flesh out the story of your schoolmates.
Nice!
Number 7. Kingdom Hearts 2. The gameplay has been further refined based on fan feedback, and new systems were put in place for combat specifically to make battles feel more dynamic than ever. With these combat mechanics and the continuation of a story that captured the imagination of its fans, it's easy to see why people love this series. Number 6. Shin Megami Tensei Persona 3 FES. Shin Megami Tensei Persona 3 FES is the epilogue of the original story. The gameplay remains the same and is just as satisfying as it always has been, while the characters you know and love from the main game get a satisfying payoff to their stories.
仲間を呼んだか。了解。分析してみる。少し時間がかかるぞ。
Number 5. Dark Cloud 2. The story of Dark Cloud 2 is a light-hearted adventure that involves time travel and the mechanic of rebuilding towns that have a direct impact on the events in the world's future. The story is fun, the characters are rich and complex, and the town rebuilding mechanic offers a nice change of pace to dungeon crawling. Number 4. Dragon Quest VIII Journey of the Cursed King. Dragon Quest VIII Journey of the Cursed King is another entry in the storied franchise and features a beautiful world and characters designed by the master manga artist Akira Toriyama. It's truly a classic representation of why people love JRPGs. Number 3. Final Fantasy XII. Final Fantasy XII is the first big departure from the normal Final Fantasy formula. This is also the first Final Fantasy that foregoes the random battles and let you see your enemy before you decide to engage them. With all this gameplay and story-driven content, this is one of the biggest Final Fantasy games on the PS2. Number 2. Final Fantasy X. This is the first Final Fantasy that took advantage of voice actors, and the production values and performances really make the narrative shine. There's just enough old and new mixed together that makes this Final Fantasy accessible yet still innovative.
Some can't wait to die.
Number 1. Shin Megami Tensei Persona 4. The story and characters drove you into the mystery of the strange occurrences in Inaba, and the bonds you form with your classmates are some of the best realized characterizations in the franchise. This game keeps new players interested and long-time fans hooked. It may be the best Persona game ever made.
There, the haunting voice is all around.